started to mention the frequency counter, and then I needed to make adjustments to my camera for the angle so we could see everything proper. As I was stating, that the crystals on this are probably bad. A good indication is simply this. For those of you who are into radios, you'll recognize the problem right off the bat. 27.0615. Now, for those that are not into radios and frequency spectrums, or at least know what the frequency is supposed to be on a CB, CBs are done in 5 kilohertz. This theoretically should read 27.0650. This one's not as crucial, but it'd be great to have it on 0. So what that's telling us is we're almost in between channels with that one. Not all the crystals are that far off. See, that's a kc and a half off. Most radios have delta tunes or fine tunes, and by doing that you could make adjustments to this radio and hear this person talk. Radios like this that don't have that kind of a control, they're going to be off. You're not going to be able to understand them. And for the most part, majority of the crystals are off. There's only one right there. That's pretty close to what it should be. Again, I'd like to see that a 5.0. Definitely would want to have new rocks put into this thing. Not sure where new crystals could be had. So the next steps I need to do is go in there and troubleshoot the squelch. Why isn't it responding like it should? As you could hear, that's one way. That's the other. I know the pod is fine because I've tested that. And it appeared that it was working before I fixed it. So I have to go back and see what I fixed and unfix it. I need to clean down the circuit board, printed side, cleaned up. I want to clean all controls, all ports, all sockets. Add some more needle lubrication because it appears that the window is showing that it's a little low. And what I find best for that, for those of us that have air compressors, you know that you have to fill them up with air compressor fluid juice. And so that's what I find best to fill these up with. No, I'm kidding. No such critter. So do that, put it together, and by gum, by golly, I think this project will be done. So I will catch up with you when I have completed said tasks. Well, here it is a few days later, and as you see, we're now in color. I thought it was a camera issue. It turned out to be just a loose cable issue. I don't record on tape. I got the camera plugged directly into the analog network, which is then plugged into my computer. And I had a wire, a video wire that was loose, and that was causing the issue of black and white. So here we are in color. So what I've done since the last go around, if I could remember, I've gone through and I've replaced all the capacitors in this radio, put new in. I pulled all the transistors out and physically checked them, and they all checked good. There was some capacitors, some resistors in this area that I replaced. One was just slightly out of tolerance, nothing to worry about, but I figure I'm there, I might as well just replace it since it was already out. And since I had another out, I went ahead and replaced that, although that one checked fine. I do have one bad resistor. I wasn't sure if it was, I do have one bad crystal. I thought it was either going to be a crystal or a socket issue or worst case scenario, switch issue. So this is the receive crystal. I pulled out the transmit crystal and put it into the socket, and it received no issues. We'll definitely need to tell the owner that he'll need a new channel 10 receive. I do have reception. I have static noise like I should. Everything is working fine. Well, almost. The only issue I'm having is the squelch control is not working. And I've gone through and I double checked all my work. Everything's fine. I reflowed the entire board and still the same issue. I've checked the trimmer pot in here just to make sure that wasn't out of tolerance, and no matter where I adjusted it, high or low, it made no difference. So I think I've taken this project as far as I can. I mean, realistically, what would need to happen is, I don't know, get in here and pluck everything, just put new in. I have a lot of time and a lot of money invested in this, and I'm getting so backlogged on other projects. I'm just going to opt to finish it here. So let me put the radio back together. One of the couple of concerns that the owner had, and we're going to do that on camera for him, is he was concerned that even though it's working through my test speaker, is it going to work through the speaker of the radio? And we're going to test and confirm that. The other thing he had commented to me in email, was that he uses these dummy batteries, and he doesn't know why he's not able to transmit too far, or the audio's garbled, etc., etc. Having just issues in general when using these dummy batteries. So once I put this together, we're going to load it up with new batteries, and we're going to test to see how this works out. As you can see, I do have the radio reassembled, and everything appears at this juncture to work. One thing I have not done, and I've saved it for you, was to put batteries in. So let's go ahead and give that not a test, but let's go ahead and do that. And I have a pack of brand new batteries, never readies. That's all I ever use. 10 batteries. So here is the moment of truth. I'll pull the antenna up just a little bit. I doubt I'm going to receive anything because activity in my area, well, I don't know, maybe dead. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Maiden voyage. Please stand by. Brace yourself. Okay. That didn't work. So let me pull the batteries out. There was another option I didn't think about. I did check all the batteries, and of course they were all fine. But maybe you could see what might be the problem. As you can see right there, that center post, really dirty. And because of that dirt, we're probably not making good contact. So let me clean that up, and we'll try this all over again. While I'm doing this, I do want to say that this vintage camera, Sony TRV-814, I think from around the year 1995-ish or so, 96, is doing a pretty good job from what I could tell. Raise the roof, and let's try it again. Nothing. Okay, let's regroup. Here on the battery contacts, they weren't making a good connection. And unfortunately, you just have these little windows here to try to clean that contact. So there's no way you could access your battery contacts with the back on. It is solid. So to the owner of this radio, as well as anybody else who may have this radio or radio similar, just keep that in mind. If you don't have access to the contacts, battery contacts on the outside, you're going to have to open up the back and clean these springs up. Here it is, finally reassembled. I have the aerial up, not all the way, but halfway, good enough. Government work, right? So let's go ahead now and test it to make sure everything works while it's all assembled before I ship it back to its owner. And there we go. And now that also answers the question for the owner. He wanted to know if it was going to work with the internal speaker as opposed to my benchtop external speaker. And yes it can. Let's go all the way full blast with it. As you can see, that got pretty loud. This concludes the video on this realistic TRC-200 5-watt 6-channel walkie-talkie from about 1977. Catch you in the next one.